Hello everyone, I'm Rachel Tessman from stampyourartout.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Andover, Minnesota in the US, and I'm here to bring you your weekly live paper crafting class. It's Wednesday, what day is it? It's Wednesday, January 15th at 11 a.m. Central Time. Sorry, 2025. Can you believe it? 2025 at 11 a.m. Central Time as I'm coming to you live. In this video, I'm going to share with you one of our newer bundles. It's actually part of a suite, but I'm not using the whole suite. I'm using the stamps, the dies, and the paper. And then I'm bringing in a lot of other Stampin' Up! Product that coordinates with it to show you 5 different greeting cards today that you can make with this unique bundle. This bundle is called the Everyday Arches Bundle. It has these really fun dies in it that my mind went crazy with, doing all kinds of creative ideas. And then it also has a stamp set that fits into the dies, and I'm going to show you that right now. So let's take a peek. Here's the Everyday Arches stamp set. You can see that the words are arched so that you can actually fit them into the arch-shaped dies. And then the paper is called Everyday Skies. I don't have all the sheets in here because I've been using it, but you can see that there are sky images on one side, and then on the other side, just kind of a subtle pattern. Some of them look like little stars. Some look like brushed on paint. And then I think there's another, like a striped one in here too. So lots of pretty stuff. Let's see, what else do I want to tell you about? In this video, we have a couple moderators that are here with us live. So if you're watching the live, you can either sit back and relax, or you can log in and join in on the chat on YouTube or on Facebook. We have 2 moderators. Trisha Josephs is on YouTube with us, and Lisa Marshall's on Facebook. They are here to answer questions, because if I pay attention to all the comments during the live, I get distracted. I forget what I'm talking about. I want to just talk. So every once in a while I do glance down. I catch a comment here and there, but I try really hard to let Lisa and Trisha take control of answering questions during the live. So I appreciate it also if you share my videos. If you're tuning in for the first time, I hope that you stick around and you subscribe so that you can come back and watch even more videos that I have to share. These classes are free. I do online teaching every week and sometimes twice a week. So on that note, oh, one more thing to mention, we do prizes. Last week, we were out of the habit of doing prizes we do prizes on Wednesday, by the way, and we were out of the habit of doing them because of the holidays. I think Christmas Day and New Year's Day actually fell right on Wednesdays, so we had to shift things, and I wasn't on my usual schedule, so please forgive me. Trisha says to me afterwards, did we forget? And I'm like, yes, we did. So she gave me the names, and we did post them in the blog post that was connected to last week's video, but I haven't heard from anyone yet. So at the end of this video, I promise you that I will not forget. I have my prizes sitting over here. I have my list of prize winners from last week, and then the winners that we're going to draw from this week, you will hear at the end of the video. So comment away. Comments get you entered into the prize drawing. The blog post that is connected to my video typically goes live shortly after the video is done. There is a link in the YouTube description, so you can click on it, but it's not going to show you anything quite yet. At 12:15, which is shortly over an hour after my video is done, you'll be able to click on it and access photos, measurements, a link to the video again. You can see a visual list of supplies and that sort of thing if you'd like to purchase any of the product that I used. And then this is my website if you're curious. So there you go. I think I covered everything. I'm looking at my notes over here. I think we're ready to start. So let's dive down to the desktop. Again, my name is Rachel Tessman. My blog or website is stampyourartout.com. I always forget to put my little screen things up there. Let us start with a card that you may have thought of, a card idea that you may have thought of when you looked at those arches, okay? So these little arches here, obviously, are arch-shaped, so you could create a really fun rainbow type card. Now to do this, I do want to point out that you probably don't want to just cut out all the different arches, right? If you were to do that, you could certainly make your rainbow. So here I'm building it up. But the problem, which a lot of you avid paper crafters probably have figured out already is that how many layers do we have in here? You know, even if we were to cut off the bottom portion, how many layers of cardstock does that take to make a nine-ringed rainbow? Plus you have your 10th layer inside here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, there's 10 layers. So that's pretty thick. You could do it. You could definitely send a card that's made that way. But if you want to save on postage and you want to create a whole bunch of rainbows at once by not having to die cut 100 times, well, maybe 90 times, I'm not sure. But you could take instead, and let me grab my Post-it tape. So I've lined up all of these arch dies so that they're nice and neat. And they have a pretty even space between them. I've got them cutting side down, and I'm just kind of sticking my fingernail in here to bring the separations, the space between, more even. And I'm going to adhere them together with some Post-it tape so that we can pick them up. So I'm just going to turn my magnet sheet from Stampin' Storage over here, and now we have them all connected. So the next thing that we'll do is we'll take and add this connected layer of dies to our machine. So I've taken my base plate number 1, die adapter plate number 2, then your cutting plate number 3. And you know what? I'm going to put that on top. We're going to put the non-scratchy one on the bottom. Either way, you can use these, by the way. And then I'm going to flip this upside down, because when you die cut upside down, your rollers are closer to the actual cutting part of the die, believe it or not. You tend to get a more accurate cut. And then I'm going to place my paper on top. I'm angling it because when you place a die into your die cutting machine with a flat edge, you have to kind of crank it hard to get over like a big jump. So we don't want to have any jumps happening while we're die cutting. So I'll add that last plate on top. This is the scratchier one. This is the one that's going to connect with the dies, lining up everything to make sure it's not crooked as we bring it through our machine. And let me just pull this back a little bit here. So I'm going to start cranking. Ugh. There's a lot of dies in here. And now we have our cutout arches. So then you can take your snips or something pokey, and I just took my paper snips and kind of wedged them between and then stuck my fingers in there to separate the paper from the dies. And I'm trying to show you this so that you can see both the dies and the paper separating. Hopefully you can. And you get your finger all the way down inside there. And what I've created is all these arches, right? I've got all these separated arches, and my dies are still intact because I'm being careful to not get them loose. Okay, they're all staying together because of that Post-it tape. And what I've created here is several separate arches. If you do these one at a time, that's fine. That's 10 of them. But then you have to go back in and you have to cut inside each one of them as well. If you do it this way, you're making lots of separate little rainbow arches, one for each color, but then you can bring them all together. Let me show you that. So it's just as much work, so you might as well make a bunch of these cards because you're not only going to get one rainbow, but you're going to get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the reason why I have 9 is because this inside piece is not really used. That's the 10th die. I did fill these in with white cardstock just to show you the separation. But what I would do later on is I would take and peel that off again. I just peel it away from the base, and I would substitute in my designer paper. So for the designer paper, what you do with that layer is you're going to take your sheet, whatever it is, you're going to lay your rainbow on there, and you're going to estimate. So here's my piece, right? My little piece that fits my card. And you're going to estimate where that middle die or that inside die is going to go. You're going to pull this away and you're going to cut from there. And if it's not accurate, it's totally fine. It's just an, kind of an approximate area, but you want to have that inside cloud layer to add to the inside of your rainbow in approximately the same space where you're adding your rainbow. So you can take a peek here. I can peel this away and you can see that I cut my designer paper in that spot to get that extra little layer on top. What's on the back side? Just a white arch. So I cut a couple of these at a time. This is just our basic white cardstock. And that way I got several done quicker. So I think I cut maybe 5 times. 5 times 2 is 10, right? So I got a bunch of background layers. After I got my background layers, I then took, put these off to the side. So here's my background layer. I then took and slathered on the adhesive. And you want to use either a glue, or my advice is to use like this seal adhesive, because the seal adhesive is not going to dry on you and you'll be able to kind of work with it a little bit longer while you shimmy and shift and get those arches in place. So for this one, I would use the outside Poppy Parade color, and I am putting this on here so that, oops. I'm putting it on here so that I have a little bit of white at the bottom, because I discovered through doing these the other night, and let me zoom in so you can see better, that for some reason the base couldn't be filled completely if I were to take and stretch them from corner to corner, side to side. So I left just a little white edge on the bottom. Let me show you that. And I can trim that off. It's not needed, but I'd rather not have white space at the top of my arch and on the sides. And for some reason, it filled in perfectly when I did it that way. Now I'll take my Calypso Coral. So I used Poppy Parade, Calypso Coral, and I'm naming off these colors because the advantage to watching this video, instead of just looking at pictures on the blog, is that you're gonna have more details. You're gonna have more information. You're gonna have all those hints and tips. And so coming to a paper crafting class is gonna help you out. This color here is the Peach Pie, and then we have Daffodil Delight. So I mixed in colors from the Soft Subtles and the brights, sorry, the Soft Subtles. We used to call them Soft Subtles. So the subtles, the brights, and then also in my other rainbow colors that I shared initially, I used some Regals too. This is Lemon Lime Twist. Oh, you know what? I forgot to put adhesive. So you would want to fill in all the adhesive and then you could start layering all these pieces in. But let me tell you the colors anyways, since that would take a long time to do all that. Lemon Lime Twist. Then I have Coastal Cabana, Azure Afternoon. This is lavender. What's that lavender color? It's not lavender. Hang on. I'll tell you. It is called Highland Heather. I almost said lavender lace. And this is Fresh Freesia. And then in the rainbow that looks like this, I used some other colors. This is Gorgeous Grape. This is Blueberry Bushel, Shaded Spruce, Granny Apple Green, Daffodil Delight again, Crushed Curry, Pumpkin Pie, Poppy Parade again, and then this is Real Red. Okay, we're moving on to another card idea. So you see these clouds? I took the clouds from a die set called Adventurous Skies. So we're gonna pull out a couple of those cloud dies. There's actually 3, there's another little one here. And we're gonna work with a new card idea now. Let's first take some ink and a blending brush. I'm using Petal Pink. That's my Tailored Expressions simple storage box that I got from Stampin' Storage. If you're looking for things that are non-Stampin' Up, I do have them listed on my website. When you click on the shop button and go down, you're going to see a section called My Favorite Extras. So anything non-Stampin' Up that I'm showing you or mentioning or whatever, you can find there typically. If you can't find it, you can reach out to me at my email address, which is stampyourartout@comcast.net, and you can ask me questions. Okay. Oh, thanks, Pam. She goes, good job on all those names. That is hard to do. All right, so here we go. We're going to take some petal pink, and we're just going to do some light coloring on our cardstock. This is our basic white cardstock, and we're coloring this before we do cutting because I do not want to have a sharp distinction between the edge of my dies and the rest of the area that I'm cutting out. Like here you can see there's a definite distinction where you get a deeper color right on that edge, and I don't want that when I cut my clouds out. I want it to be a softer look. So I'm going to do that same thing on this side because we're going to do the little cloud over here. Okay, we'll shut that up, close that pad up, move that off to the side, and we'll bring in our dies and our machine again. We're stamping fast today, you guys. We got 5 cards to share. All right, let's move. Now we're going to switch. We're going to do our scratchier plate on the bottom because that's what I typically like to do, except when I'm doing a ton of dies or detailed dies, then I flip it upside down if I can. But for this, it should cut out pretty perfectly. So we're going to position that there. We'll position this one down here. We'll place that on top. So we're giving the clouds a little bit of tinted color. We're using the petal pink ink, like I mentioned, on basic white, and that's going to replicate the colors that you're going to see in the paper that I'm picking out from this pack. Oops. Oops, oops, oops. We need that. We need that one. All right. So here I have my clouds. And we're going to take our base. This is Blueberry Bushel. And this is the designer paper, and I've already pre-cut it. And you can see that we have that similar look in the clouds now. We have that white with a little bit of pink tint to it. So it looks more like it's blended in to the background. I'm going to grab my seal adhesive again, and we'll add that. Actually, we're not adding that yet. Hang on. We're going to work with that separately. We're going to build our rainbow. So I have cut out a base piece. I have cut out my initial arch. I've cut out a second arch and an inside arch. These are the colors that we're going to use for a 3-color rainbow because you don't have to do all those colors. You can do a simple rainbow with just a few colors, right? So I thought 3 would be a good number. But I don't want that thickness again. So instead, I'm going to take the dies from my die sheet. And where did that magnet go? We'll find it somewhere. Okay, I have a magnet sheet somewhere for all my dies. That's okay, it's gone. Oh, it's right here. Okay, so I'm going to place these on here so you can take a peek because I want you to see how I marked them up. So yeah, I'm separating these out now. By the way, you don't want to take this tape off until you're done with all your rainbows for your first cards because you want them all to be lined up the same way. But can you see on here, I have marked this outer die, the third one in from the outside, and then the inner die, and the third one out from the inside. Those are the dies that we're using for this card. So I will pull them all out of here now. I've just marked them with a little Sharpie marker. You can do that little trick for your own paper crafting if you want to remember which dies that you're using. So I've already cut out these two with the largest die. This is basic white again, just for a base. And this here is our specialty ombre paper, which comes in some beautiful colors. The colors are Balmy Blue, Bubble Bath, Coastal Cabana, Fresh Freesia, Highland Heather, Lemon Lime Twist, Lemon Lolly, Petal Pink, Pool Party, and Soft Sea Foam. Now you can't see like that many separate sheets, but what you have in here, again, like I said, it's ombre. So you have the ability to see all of those colors kind of blended throughout. And there's 3 different designs with those ombre colors. In fact, you can see them really well when you place them side by side like that, right? So 3 sheets, 2 of each, glimmer paper. So on one of my cards, my finished card, I used this side On the one I'm going to share with you right now, I used this side. Same thing with this piece. Decided it's okay if they're not perfectly exactly the same. Let's bring our die cutting machine back in. We've already used this one. I'm going to set it off to the side because we're done with it, but we will be using these three. So let's grab that machine again. And we're going to set it up. Now, I'm going to tell you that you don't have to be too worried about getting things exact. In fact, if you want your rainbow to kind of be off kilter, you can do that too, because you're going to be fitting this next piece, which was cut with that same size, in that space. So it's okay if it's not centered. You can put it wherever you want to. I am going to center it, or as much as I can, just because though. And we will place that through our machine and cut it. Oh, I know why. Not just because, but I have some words that I'm going to stamp on the blue layer. The blue layer is my balmy blue. Again, I cut it with the same die that we just cut the inside arch with. This I can use on some other project. Don't throw that away. It's not waste. Now I will take and use this die next. This is the next size, and I know it's much smaller, but we need to fit some words in here. So that is basically why I'm centering things, because I want to make sure my words will fit. So I'm going to cut that next and put it through the machine. And this next layer that I cut out is this one. It's the same size that I just cut out from the inside of here, because again, that's going to fill in that space. So we're going to take out the middle of that. And we're going to place it as centered as we can. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you can certainly take a ruler or something out there to measure. And we now have our third arch, but our rainbow needs to be hollow underneath. So I'm going to keep this die handy. Got all my pieces ready to layer up. And we now need to remove the inner portion of our die. I'm actually not going to use that die though. I'm going to use a different size, because if I'm not going to connect all of this now, line it up all now, I want to make sure I don't have that in the wrong spot. So I'm going to grab my dies one more time, and this time I'm going to grab the next size up. So just a little tip, if you grab the next size up, it's in between the outer portion of that greenish layer and the inside portion where it got cut. And I'm going to try to place this in the middle. So hopefully it works. If not, then I was going too fast. So we're going to place that in the middle as much as I can and hope that it works. You know what I could do? I could go like this and make sure that it's pretty darn close, right? So let's see, right about there is where that's going to go. Here we go. Cross your fingers, you guys. It should work, but this works much easier than using the exact same small die if you go just one size up. And sorry that my cutting plate is so beat up. So now we can do the same thing where we add our seal adhesive, and you don't have to do it in every single spot, but just enough to get those layers on. So you kind of want to go through the middles and all of that, through the top. Just get some adhesive slathered on there somewhere. And we can start with this outside arch. And you can go up a little ways if you're nervous about it, but there, that fits on there pretty well. The next one we're going to stamp. So we're going to take our stamps from that set, and we're going to use this one here. You Are Simply Fantastic. They are see-through stamps. So photopolymer, great to work with for everybody and anybody, especially beginners. You want to let your stamp relax. Just let it relax on a paper surface like that, something that's not going to grab onto it, a non-sticky surface. Then after it's relaxed, you're going to pick it up with your block. We're going to take our ink. I'm using Blueberry Bushel, which is the same color that we used on the outside layer or the base layer of our cardstock. And because I have such a huge stamp, I am adding the ink upside down because I know that I can see the whole thing. I don't have to worry about it, I don't know, tipping on me or dipping my actual block into it. It's much easier for me to add the ink that way. Then I just line this up in that space and stamp it down. The next step is to take that, add it on the inside here. And again, it should just be like a puzzle piece because the outside of this blue, balmy blue layer is the same die I used to cut the inner portion inside that pinkish purple layer. You can see I have a little bit left for my spot here. I do see some adhesive there, but not in every little spot. So I think I'm going to just take and add a little bit of glue here. This is my precision tip bottle that you can find in my favorite extras. And I'm just checking all over, a little space up here. Okay, then we can take our last, add that in here. And that's how you can make a much simpler, quicker rainbow. I would then take and cut, and you can cut with your paper snips, your trimmer, however you want to do it, but just take and cut. And I think what I did is I went like this. Yes, I did. So I cut this way to get my rainbow to be taller. And then I took and added all my layers on. So we're going to quickly put this together. We're going to take our cloud layer, which I've already pre-cut. In fact, I will line this up for you so you can see. Oh, I keep wanting to add this first. Don't add this first, okay? There, this little surface here will keep it from sticking to my grid paper. Don't add that first. Rachel, you were so tempted once again. Okay, so these pieces go on like that. That's where I cut them from my sheet. I just cut a 4" by 5 1/4" section, which is going to layer onto the front of our card, but not yet. And then I have that same size layer for the inside. This is my white layer. I also have a 2" wide white layer that is the same height. So 4 by 5 1/4 and 2 by 5 1/4. I think this is 2. Yep, 2 inches. I have my clouds ready to go. And this is why we cannot add this to the front of our card yet. So we're going to estimate where this looks like it'll fit the best. I want some room up here on the top. I'm going to cut a portion of my rainbow off, but I also want my words to be on my card with the ability to have a little bit of rainbow cut off here where I get the blue and the purplish color. So now let's bring in our trimmer and we're going to cut that off. I'm going to use the bottom portion of my trimmer so I can still see my words. I can see my blue and my purplish separation here. I can see the channel of my trimmer going through. So it's going to cut, but not cut off my words. These two bottom portions of my rainbow are flat, so they're pressed against that flat edge of my trimmer. And then I'm going to press this down and hold and cut. And now I have a nice straight separation of my rainbow. If I were to put this on first and then trim with the scissors, the cut wouldn't be as exact, and I wanted an exact cut, and you'll see why. I also wanted to add this up with dimensionals to pop it up a little higher. So let's come back to our card base piece, and that's going to be added in around here with a little gap at the top. My clouds can come in like this. That looks like it'll work. So I'm going to trim right about, oops, let's do that again. It moved on me. I'm going to estimate where that cloud is going to sit. And I can trim my rainbow right up, oh my goodness sakes, right about here. Okay, so I'm just gonna mark it with my scissors and cut straight across. I can cut straight across on this side as well. And if I want to, I can even go up higher on that side. And I think I'm gonna have this rainbow go a little higher, maybe right where those little dash marks are on the green. Cut it right about there. And this we can leave as is for now. We are going to be using that. Okay, so this can be added with dimensionals on the front of our card. Let me grab those. Just add 5 of them throughout. peel off the backings. Dimensionals are a great adhesive. They bring lift to your card. They bring a little bit of shadow and interest. And I want, again, this to be lined up with the straight edge here and not all the way to the top of that paper. See, I want a little bit of sky still showing up there. Now I can bring in my clouds again. And for the clouds are also going to be on dimensionals, but not where it's touching the rainbow. So I'm going to take a dimensional and stick it over here. And then I'm going to put some adhesive right on the bottom portion of my rainbow. I'll do it with this because the seal is not connecting. Okay, so then I come in, I add my cloud, making sure it's covering up the bottom of that arch. Oh, come on. Oh, that's because I forgot this. Got to peel the backings off your dimensionals, Rachel. Okay, now it's connected, and this eventually will dry. There's a glue there. Flip it over. Trim. That's why we're not adding it to our card base yet. And then we will add this one over here, and that one we can add just directly with the glue because there's really not a space to put a little dimensional under here, right? It's plenty. Flip that over, trim it up. And now we can add this to the front of our card. This is the one card where I wanted to walk you through pretty much all of it. I have 2 more to go after this. Oops, the glue is not dry yet, so it's tilting on me. Stick that back on there. Rachel does not have patience when she's going fast. Okay, now let's make sure. Yep, that's straight on. Okay, so there's that. Now on the inside of the card, this is where we can use the extra rainbow. So I'm going to take these pieces here, and I'm going to add adhesive to the back sides. This one will go here with 1/8 of an inch all the way around in that section. This one will go right next to it. And this one will actually go over here, and I'm trying to think of how those, I'll just look at this one here. Okay, it went like that. Okay, so then that one will go, and I did it again, didn't I, you guys? I added adhesive before I should have. I will always be able to lift this up later on though, because I didn't put it super close. I'm gonna, because I have to cut another piece out anyways. Then this will go between, like that. And then the rainbow has to be flat because it's the inside of a card. So we're gonna add that with flat adhesive right in here. And if you want to, you can take and compare it to your other rainbow and trim it, make it like exactly the same size, or you can keep it nice and long. I think I'm gonna trim it so that it's just a continuation of the rainbow I just did. So I'm gonna add it about here. And then my other cloud, which I don't have yet, but I would do another cloud and I would put it right over it in that spot to finish it up. And that is that card. Okay, we have a third card. Are you guys getting lots of inspiration from this suite? It is an amazing suite. Everybody should have it. We have 2 cards done so far. Let's grab the third one. The third one, and the third, fourth, and fifth, I should say, I'm just gonna explain little details on. I'm not actually gonna walk you through them. Okay, so for the third card, which looks like this, you're like, oh my gosh, of course, right? You can take and put a couple of these, oh here, I have them right here. A couple of these little arches like that, and you overlap them to build hearts. Now, certain sizes won't look very heart-like eventually. Like this one, it does not look like a heart, right? So as you get further and further away from this size, it gets kind of awkward looking, right? It looks like 2 Band-Aids that have been overlapped. Oh my gosh, you could do Band-Aids. You could do Band-Aids with this. Okay, but anyways, so this size I thought was perfect. I'm gonna tell you which die that is in just a minute. But then you start to get a little more awkward looking. And if you go in the opposite direction, let's see if I can show you that here. I've got 2 large arches. It starts to get more like a blob, right? It doesn't really have that heart look anymore. So not all of them are going to work, but the one size that I thought was perfect for that is die number, let's figure that out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 in from the biggest, which would make it, and we'll just fill in this whole thing. Except I don't have all of them with me. Do I? I'm missing one. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I'm missing one. I'm missing the outer one, right? The outer? No. I'm missing the inner one. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. I have 9 dies. And I believe it comes with 10 dies. Didn't we say 10? Yes, it does. So I'm missing the innermost die. And so you would be using the 4th from the inside, because there's another one here, 1, 2, 3, 4, or it would be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th from the outside. Okay, that's the one that I thought was perfect for this. I also used little strips. Where are they? Little strips of gold foil. So I just cut 1/8 little strips here that are also 1 3/4 inches in the opposite direction. So 1/8 of an inch wide, 1 3/4 fit in there perfectly. And so after overlapping, I just kind of filled in. I took and only inked up part of the You Are Loved stamp, which actually doesn't have all the words in it. It's No You Are Loved. So I inked up the You Are, stamped that down. Then I inked up the Love and stamped that down. And that's how I got that look. Filled in with hearts, and the hearts are from the adhesive back heart sequins. You get 3 different sizes. So I started with the small, medium, and large. Laid this down onto my paper, trimmed off the edge, then layered that onto the basic white layer and onto the cherry cobbler base. This is cherry cobbler ink. This is one of the back sides of the designer paper. Again, the designer paper, you have some non-dominant images, right? And I used this sheet right here for that layer. This is the inside, so I put So Very Much, which comes from that stamp, and a couple more hearts. The layers are 5 3/8 by 4 1/8 times 2. So the white layers are that size, and then the designer paper is 4 by 5 1/2. Okay, that is your 3rd card. The next card is, the next one is another way to think kind of outside the box. This is the 4th card, and I actually got inspired by seeing something in one of our demonstrator only groups on Facebook, and I can't recall who it was that shared this idea. I believe that's where I saw it, but she took and cut with her oval, and then took that same shape, turned it around, and cut again. You do see faint little lines here. If you look real close, you can see this straight dash line here and here. Same thing on this side, but they're very, faint, and you don't really notice them too much when you just look at the beautiful ovals you can get. So the sizes that I used for that, and I wish I had my 10th die. It is on this table. I know it's on this table. Okay. Again, this is where I need a helper in the room. But I do have a 10th die that's in here, right? It's supposed to be that size. So for my ovals, I used, and I'm just going to bend these back a little bit. I used this one, which is the 3rd from the outside. Okay, 3rd from the outside. And I used this one is the inside. So this one is the 4th from the inside for the white layer. When you die cut with them, they tend to bend a little bit, which is why I'm kind of bending them back. And then I used the one right next to it. So 4th from the inside, and then this black layer is the 5th from the inside. Okay, And that's how I got that. The measurements are in my blog post. I'm going to show you that real quickly, how you can get there. So if we pull up our screen here, we're going to click on stampyourartout.com. When you're on my blog post, you're going to click on my blog. Now I have that in another area already pulled up because it's not a live post yet. And so you can't really see it unless I show it to you from behind the scenes. So here's what it will look like when you get to it. When you click on that link in the description of the video, you'll be able to get to this page, which tells you the title of it. It gives you the video, which you can click on again and rewatch over and over again. And then you have the measurements and photos for all 5 cards. Here is the first, the second, and the third. And now for this one, this is a special card. It's called a 3-panel scenery Z-fold card, which I came up with the idea for a long, long time ago. You'll want to follow these measurements in order to make the card that I just shared with you, okay? And then you can get this fun look where you can see 6 inches of your designer paper by 5¼ inches tall. And it's just the way you cut it and the way you bend your base in order to show off that whole fun scene on that card. That's the 4th card. The 5th card is an idea that I got inspired for by seeing Stampin' Up's ideas. So they had, I can't remember exactly where I saw it, probably on the website. In fact, let's just find that. On the website, in the store. I think this is where I found it. So if we go to stampinup.com or you click on the shop button from my website, you're going to get here. And then we're just going to put in here arches. So we'll come up with that bunch of products. I'm going to click on this one because I think this is where their ideas came from. Maybe not. Let's go to the stamp set that I used for that. And that is 1 more year. So I'm going to put in the word year. 1 more year. Okay, here's where I got my idea. You see this cute little stamp set with the doggy in it? Do you see that? This is probably just fussy cut, right? But, oops, here I am. Okay, I took and used the Arches die to make the little doggy door and did something similar. This is that designer paper. They did not use this designer paper, but I thought this is going to be the perfect scene for some really pretty clouds in the background. And this is actually just a 4x4 sheet of designer paper. I didn't put a full panel back there because I didn't want to use up too much of the paper, right? Then it was covered with a little layer of Granny Apple Green. This is the 2-tone cardstock. 2-tone cardstock has 2 tones to it. Okay, on one side it's lighter, on one side it's darker. I got this in the reindeer pack, I believe. Let me tell you the exact name. It is called Reindeer. I have to go down to the bottom here. Reindeer Memories. Reindeer Memories cardstock has multiple colors of various Stampin' Up colors in it. And Granny Apple Green is included in that. So that's where I got that. You can also get that from the Halloween variety scrapbooking pack of 2-tone cardstock. I can't remember the name of that, but either one has Granny Apple Green in it. I also used Early Espresso for the cardstock base and Early Espresso ink. This house is cut from these dies called Country Birdhouse dies. So it's actually a birdhouse shape. But if you tuck in the base of the house down there, you can't tell that it's a birdhouse. It's tucked in under this torn layer that's brought up with dimensionals of that lighter Granny Apple Green. Took and cut him out with scissors, yes, fussy cutting, after coloring in with some Blends markers. The Blends marker colors that I used were Petal Pink for most of the body and the nose. Then I also used Cajun Craze, the light color for the tongue, which also matches the the doghouse background here. And then Granny Apple Green for the hat. Again, back sides of the designer paper, and there is that sheet right there. It's on the back side of that pretty cloud paper. So that's how I got that look. This is the inside of the card. Just wanted to use a little bit more of that beautiful paper on the inside. Very funny stamps. They come from One More Year. There's the doggy, and here are the 2 stamps that I used to make that card. Lots of fun card ideas with the Everyday Arches stamps and dies and Everyday Skies designer paper. I do want to point out one more thing. I used Wink of Stella on the hat. It's kind of hard to see, but I just wanted a little sparkle on that fun little tassel part or pom-pom part of the hat. I hope you got a ton of inspiration from these. This was so much fun. I could keep going. Now I have a Band-Aid card idea in mind, right? There's so much that you can do with arches, right? I really highly recommend this product. If you're interested in shopping for any of this product, again, you can go to my website, stampyourartout.com, and click on anything that says shop. The shop buttons will take you to my online store, and you can purchase directly from me. You can also click on the links of the products in the description of the video or in the blog post. All of those products will lead you directly to shopping through me. Now, if you're shopping through other demonstrators, you already have your own demonstrator, please order through them. Just use the order numbers and place your order through them. Give them some love. If you're already a demonstrator, order from yourself. Keep yourself active. We're going to move on to prizes, and then I'll tell you some stuff about news, okay? All right. We have prizes. I don't want to forget about the prizes, so we're doing those before Stampin' Up! News. I hope that's okay. I have some product that, let me pull up the prize list first. I don't want to say this wrong. We have some product that has not been claimed yet. In fact, I just placed another order, so I have more of it. But Tor Baker 5900. You were drawn as an After Live commenter last week and on the 8th, but it was after the live was done. So Tor Baker 5900, YouTube viewer, you get to pick from either the fruit paper, the Rainbow Celebration kit, which I have a ton of, the toadstool paper, the Friendly Seagulls stamp set, or the sequins, which are the purple back adhesive sequins. And I actually use those on this card here. That's a celebration freebie. All of these are celebration freebies, which I'll talk to you about in a minute, but Tor Baker 5900, you get your choice of one of those. Then just contact me with my email address so that you can tell me which one you want. Last week, we also had 2 other winners that did not reach out. They were drawn during the live, but again, not announced until after the live was done. In my blog post, I have their names, Don Pomerang and Denise Swenson. You'll want to reach out to me because you get a tutorial of your choice. I have over 90 tutorials on my website, and it's under the shop button. So you go to shop, go down to where it says tutorials, and then shop all the tutorials. You get to pick one of those out for free. The winners for today. So let me go over here on my computer and I'm going to pull up names. So we have After Live winners that also commented after the live was done last week, and I have drawn from those commenters on both Facebook and YouTube, and I'm going to show you their names. They also get to have a tutorial of their choice. So let me pull those names up and I will share them with you. We did a random pick. And we have Peggy Frost Brandon. She was the winner from Facebook. And we also have Marilyn Gallman 8705. You were the winner from YouTube after live comments. So make sure that if you see your name or you hear your name, that you reach out to me. Again, my email address is stampyourartout@comcast.net. Not comcast.com, but comcast.net. Reach out to me with your address. If you live outside the US, I can't send you actual physical product if that's what you want, but anybody and everybody can always choose a tutorial which can be emailed to you. Now we're going to come back to the desktop, and Trisha is drawing names for the live winners. So if you see your name pulled up, then you are going to get a selection of 40 sheets of past retired designer paper. I'll try to throw some really pretty papers in there that could be scenery paper for cards that would go with the arches, but there's also really fun paper in here like glimmer papers too. So take advantage of that if you are a winner, you know, just play around with these papers and do some really fun creative things. I really encourage all of you to get the Arches, Everyday Arches dies. They are incredible, the stamp set that goes with it. So I'm gonna just scroll through, peek over here at my live streaming too to see if Trisha has announced those names yet, and she just has. Those winners are oh, I can't read it from here because my eyes are bad. Judith Bradshaw and Karen Clary. And I'm gonna see if I can pull them. Here they are, there we go. So those are our winners. Judith Bradshaw and Karen Clary, you are the winners for the sheets of designer paper, glimmer papers, specialty paper, and it's just going to be random. I'm going to pick out a bunch of sheets for you. I hope that you enjoy, and congrats. Yes, Heidi, thank you for your congrats. So nice of you guys to chime in with your words of cheering. I appreciate that. So those individuals, make sure you reach out to me. Stampin' Up! News. Did you see the celebration products that I just shared with you? I'm going to show you some of those again. So there's freebies. There are freebies going on right now. If you like Stampin' Up! Product, or you're saying, oh my gosh, I have to get some of this stuff, you can place an order. And when you place an order in the US of 60 or more, you get to pick a celebration freebie. You can either place an order directly through a demonstrator. You can contact somebody, reach out to them, like myself, via email, their phone number, however you want to reach out to them. But you can place an order directly, or you can create an online account and you can order that way. Just know that when you're in the online account that you have to click on the next screen in order to pick out your freebies. Sometimes people think that they pick them out as they're adding their other stuff to their shopping cart, but it's not until you click continue that you have that screen come up. The other thing that's going on is lots of new product. Like I just showed you, the Everyday Arches that got released in early January. There are a couple of other products that are new to the online only products. If you're going to shop Stampin' Up! Products, I'll take you back to the store real quickly here so you can take a peek. Oops, there we go. So when you're here at stampinup.com, you can click on specials. You can see all the celebration freebies. You can shop last chance products, which are disappearing when they sell out. You can look on bundled savings. You can also go to what's new, and you can take a peek at what just showed up in the scrapbooking brochure, the mini catalog, which just got released. And then there's also all those new arrivals, which are like the online exclusive type things. They're mixed in with the products that are also new things from the mini catalog and scrapbooking brochure. But if you want to look at only online items, you can go to the menu, you can go to shop products, and you can go to online exclusives. These are products that are only showing up online. They include kits, but there's the Everyday Arches, okay? All right, I hope that this was an educational video for all of you. I hope that you got a ton of ideas. I really would appreciate it if you follow me on YouTube by subscribing, follow me on Facebook. Oh, speaking of Facebook, I want to tell you something that I've noticed. I'm having issues again with Facebook. Facebook has glitches, and right now it's taking a video that I do and it's producing it several more times. So you may be watching like a copy of a recorded video. When this video is done, it looks like I only have one done, but then like in 24 hours, I have multiples of it. It's really weird. I'm not sure how long I'm going to stay on Facebook. I told you guys this before the holidays that I might get off Facebook. There's glitches and I'm kind of sick of it. So I just want to tell you that that is happening right now. Try to find the original video. That one has probably the best viewing to look at. The other ones are like narrow. They're really weird. But I'm noticing people are viewing them, so somehow people can access them too. I'm not just seeing them on my end. It's really weird. Okay, next videos. I have some coming up. So next Wednesday, I have the January 22nd, 11 a.m. online paper crafting class. I also have one the following Wednesday, all Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Central Time. So on the 29th, you will see me again. But then in between, I try to share on Fridays or Saturdays. This one, I do not have a live coming up because I am hosting a retreat for some of my top achieving demonstrators in my team. And we will be hanging out together from Thursday to Sunday type thing. Not all of us, but the one who's flying in. And then so the following week, I have a video on Saturday for my channel members on YouTube, the supporting channel members. We have a special video just for you at 10 a.m. on the 25th. And then I come back to everybody on the 31st on Friday with another extra bonus online paper crafting class at 10 a.m. So, all right, if you want to know more about upcoming events, you can follow me on Facebook. I have an events section. Yeah, and if you want to share things that you've created and you're on Facebook, you can join my Facebook group. Make sure that you answer the membership questions so that you can get in. I have to kind of clean up some of the pending memberships because there's like 30 people who've tried to enter the group and they did not answer questions, so I have to clean them up. But please answer the membership questions. I will approve you to join, and then you can share what you have created with your products. It can be ideas that you came up with on your own. It can be ideas that inspired you from past videos that I've shared. I hope that you continue to join me for my future online paper crafting classes. I hope you had fun. Thank you so much to Trisha and Lisa for the moderating. And now I would like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye, everyone.